Hello viewers, welcome to KINTU'S Lunch. Today we are talking about Bantu, Ubuntu. What does this mean? We've seen a lot of YouTube videos on this. Some people didn't even know they are Bantu, but we now know what Bantu is all about. Ubuntu, you find it in so many of these African tribes. For example, Ubuntu in Shona, they express it in their greetings. When they say Mangwanani and the other one say Darara Marara Seo, it means I'm fine, I slept well. As long as you also slept well, I also slept well. So it's about you caring for the other. One time when I just came to this country, I saw someone falling and I went near and said sorry to them. And the response was not very good. So from that time, I'm very cautious. I don't just say sorry to people. Because I was told, it's not your fault. It's none of your business. Yet all I was trying to be was to be caring to this person. Because that's how we're taught at home. When you see someone is hurting, when you see someone something is happening, you need to say sorry to them. But because of that incident, my sorries are limited these days because I don't know what response I'm going to do. So this is the differences in cultures. So anyway, our Ubuntu is about care. It doesn't matter whether you're a stranger, whether you're a friend, whether it's your business. Ubuntu cares. And to be Ubuntu, you need to have those values. If you don't have those values in you, it means that you've lost your Ubuntu. If you don't care, if you're selfish. And that's sadly what is becoming to most of our African brothers and sisters. We need to embrace these values again. For us to continue as a people, for us to prosper, we need to work together. As they say, divided we fall, united we stand. This is very true. This is very true. You may think you're helping someone and that will be the end, but you never know what that person will help you with in future. So that's why you see we are interdependent on each other. We can't live alone. So all this selfishness, all this jealousness, all this greediness for money should stop. As a people, as Africans, we need to go back to our old ways. We need to embrace the Bible because we know the Bible is us. Our history is in the Bible. So we need to embrace it. And we go back to our olden ways because they're inculcated in us. Okay? For those of you who are joining us, you're all welcome. Let's continue with our topic. Before we continue, shout out to all the YouTubers who are promoting African unity. Okay, hello everyone. This is Susan from KINTU'S Lunch. How is everyone today? I hope you're all doing well in all your ways. Today we are going to talk about a topic called Bantu. As we already know, most of you know now that the Bantu occupy a big part of Africa, and with their videos talking about their migration, and it said they're found in both West Africa, Southern Africa, Central and Eastern Africa. But this is not disregarding any other ethnicity in Africa. We are all brothers and sisters. It's just that we are diverse. And the Bantu people are likely to have come from these other ethnicities as well. Or if not, they have relationships with these other ethnicities like the Nilotics, the Hamites. Okay? So, but the Bantu people, I'm not really talking about the Bantu people. I'm talking about what does Bantu mean? What is being a Muntu mean? Bantu refers to people and Muntu refers to one person. A Muntu makes Bantu. So, the philosophy of Bantu says, I am because you are. The Bantus, they live as a group. They don't live in isolation. That's one of the founding principles, that we are dependent on each other. You can't do without the other. Our ancestors lived this to the fullest. In some parts of Africa, they would do what they call Okuta Omkago. That is, they would do a certain ceremony with the aim of having brotherhood amongst themselves. For instance, in Uganda, in the olden days, Okuta Omkago would take coffee beans. A group of people would have coffee beans. Then they would cut a bit of their blood and put it on the coffee bean. Each of them would put the blood on a coffee bean, and by doing so, they would always remain brothers or sisters, and it would be a brotherhood, an allegiance to, so that whenever they needed each other, they would be dependent on each other, and they would be willing to help each other. They would die for each other. That's what it would mean. So, like in Uganda, the Baganda people who started the Buganda kingdom, the first Baganda, the word Ganda comes from Obuganda, which means a group of, or a bundle of sticks put together. So if it's just one on its own, you're one, but putting those sticks together, you're together. All the sticks come together in a bundle. And that's where the word Buganda came from. That is, people coming together, togetherness, that collectiveness. This collectiveness, the people, African people, have always embraced it. It's like it's inculcated into them. It's about doing things together. It's not only about being together, but also it's about you as a human being. What do you want from life? How do you want to be seen by others? It goes back to the 10 commandments of the Bible. You should not steal. You should not murder. People will judge you. So it's about living to the standards of those commandments. That is being a Muntu. That is being a Bantu. Loving each other. Doing it for yourself and your community. This is what Ubuntu is all about. If you don't have that, Ubuntu is that humanness in you. If you do something and it's not up to standards, or if you kill, people will say they've lost that humanness in them. To be human, you don't do things like that, evil things. You don't do evil to others, just like you don't want other people to do evil to you. It's all about that. It's valuing yourself more than money. It's valuing yourself more than other resources, valuing your neighbor. You go out to your neighbors to help in case they have problems, in case they're in trouble. That courage you have, that is the Ubuntu in you, that spirit of helping. And because of that spirit, Africans always embrace their friends. They embrace strangers because it's inculcated into their spirit to be good to others. But in so doing, they ended up being taken advantage of. That's what we've seen. To me, I think the most important things that have destroyed our Ubuntu in Africa is money, is education, Western education, and religion. Those three things have destroyed the Ubuntu in us. And you find that at the moment, most people, let's say 50% of Africans, I don't know, but I see they are losing that Ubuntu in them. People do not really care about each other. They treasure money more than people. People have betrayed each other for money. The Africans who sold their brothers into slavery, they are just betraying their fellow brothers just for money. Even up to now, we see this scenario still playing in African societies, in our politics. These things are happening, and it's so sad. People need to stop what they're doing and go back to that Ubuntu, which was the founding principles of us as a people. We need to have that humanness in us. We need to have love for each other. We see some people are exemplary in doing these things, and then others come to destroy it. At the moment, I think when you look, some people have ended up being jealous of others because we have what is called the have and the have-nots. The haves maybe have gone to been educated, and they're doing well, and they are high regarded in society. They have economic resources to their advantage, and then the have-nots have not had the benefit of education. So that there's that conflict between the two, and as a result, people end up hurting others because of that. So I think people should not put money, they should not put religion, they should not put education in when it comes to society. People need to look at each other and see, what can I do for my brother? What can I do for my sister? Other than destroying each other. If we don't go back to those old ways, we are destroying each other, and we are going to become extinct as a group of people, as Africans. We should stop being evil. We should stop loving money so much to the extent that you betray your own brother just for money. And our enemies know this. They know that we want quick gratification. But we should take this system out of us for the sake of our future generations. This thing must stop. Africans need to look into the mirror and into their hearts and think of what next. How can you be there for your brother? How can you be there for your sister? I'm sorry if I offend some of you Ugandans, because I always refer to Buganda and Busoga, but that's where I come from. So my reference points have to be from these areas, because that's where I grew up, and the things I'm talking about them. But I know that even in other parts of Uganda, these are the same ways, because in Uganda we have other people who belong to the Bantu. And I'm not disregarding the Nilotics. They also have their Ubuntu in them, and they have a different name for it. So please bear with me when it comes to that, because I've received some comments before about this issue. Okay, so let's continue. Like in Buganda again, when it comes to Ubuntu, Buganda Kingdom, they had what they call Obulungi Bwensi. Obulungi Bwensi meaning the pride of my country. That's how I can interpret it. And people would have days when they would all go out and clean up, declutter all the rivers. They would declog them so that they don't be infested with what is it called, malaria. What are these insects which cause malaria? Now I'm forgetting. Yeah, so anyway, just to clean up for the pride of their country. And this thing is also happening in Rwanda now, or they call it Obuganda, something like that. That's what I'm talking about. People to be proud of themselves, to be proud of where they come from. Yeah, people should not, and this does not mean money. It means working together to bring about a good, a collective good to benefit yourself, your family, and the generation to come. So this is what I'm talking about. People need to go back to those olden ways. Like again, when I was growing up, or even now in Uganda, when you go to greet, like in Busoga, when you go to greet, it can take a whole 10 minutes or even more. People will greet you. They'll greet, they would want to know how you are, your illness, how is it doing? How is the illness of so-and-so doing? They greet you, they ask you about your chickens. Yes, which used to make us very laugh when we were young. How can you inquire about chickens? But when I'm growing up, I realize because your livelihood depends on these animals. It's an ecosystem. It's you and your land. So you've got to inquire about them. That's when I became to know that, oh, that's why people go to this length to greet and to inquire about all these things. This is about Ubuntu. It shows someone cares for the other. The love you have for the other person. That is all it is about. It does not only stop there. You find that people, if there are problems in the family, relatives who come to your aid. Maybe someone loses their father or someone or the matriarch in the family. Then you see another relative taking over the responsibility of those children. They look after them. They pay for their school fees. If community is having a function, let's say wedding function where we grew up, it didn't matter whether we are Christians and we had neighbors who are Muslims. When it came to a wedding, the Hajis who invite all of us would go and would eat until we would be full on their wedding days. That's how the community was like. If there was a Eid for the Muslims when they celebrate Eid, they would cut meat and send it over to different families in the community. That is all about. First an African, before you call yourself a Muslim or a Christian, before you call yourself educated or uneducated, before you call yourself rich and poor, first put the word Africa. And what is it to be African? Is to be that muntu, to have that humanness in you, to be there to work for yourself and to work for your people, to lift them so that you work and lift each other together. That's what Ubuntu is about. That's why you see in Africa, they say a child is raised by the whole village. If I find someone's child in the road misbehaving, as a big person, I beat them or I punish them or I discipline them. And when they go back home and they tell their parents, the parents will beat them too. That's what it's about. So Africans need to embrace this again. Think about yourself, your friends, before you think about other things like money, like all these other things that came with colonialism. We need to go back to our ways. It's high time we did it. We need to do it for ourselves. We need to do it for our diasporans who went out of Africa and need to come back. When they come back, We need to help them to know our ways. And there's no, I mean, if we can't tell them things like this, how will they be ever know what it was all about before? We need to embrace this. Societies, different societies in Africa need to embrace their culture, because most of the cultures in Africa, they've got Ubuntu in them. So they need to embrace these cultures and pass it on to their children and to all their relatives or our families, the diasporan families, which left our continent during that hard time. So yeah, that's what I wanted to tell you about the Ubuntu. To me, I'm telling you Ubuntu from my point of view as a person who grew up in Africa, and as I saw it, and when I reflect on it, that's how I think Ubuntu should be operationalized. So I'm going to end here today on this note, and subscribe, like, and comment. And if you have anything to add on, please add on and see how we can go on from here. If you have any advice, do add comment, advice on how we can go on from here. Yeah, so that's me today. Hope you have a good day. Subscribe, like, and share. I'm signing off, and see you next time. You do take care. Bye. Ubuntu is about respect, human dignity, solidarity, and consensus, which demands conformity and loyalty to the group. We should not let ourselves be taken advantage of again by outside forces in form of money, education, and religion, whose aim is to destroy us as a people. We should guard and patent our culture, customs, and languages fiercely and with pride. On that note, I end today's episode. Bye for now.